Hey guys, good morning. These last few weeks, I've been having to make a really difficult decision. Both roads that were presented to me offer pros and cons like everything, right? Either path is just so night and day different. And it's very difficult, especially when you have other people involved and depend on you making the right decision. So whenever you're facing a difficult situation like that, a difficult decision, I should say, what do? I'm just going to share what I have observed, what I observed recently. So we kind of want to listen to our intuition, right, during those moments. But our brain is very loud. And it has a lot of fear and a lot of doubt. And it has so many questions that it wants answers to before you make a decision. And the worst thing is that we can't see into the future. We don't have any guarantees. So, as we already know. And those are the moments where I really wish I could see into the future. But then how would we learn? And then also, how would we cultivate our faith in the unknown? Maybe not necessarily having faith in a higher power, but having faith in yourself, having faith in your capacity, in your skills, in your abilities to be able to bounce back no matter what. Or maybe to be able to having faith in your abilities to make it work. I find that our intuition, or at least for me, my intuition runs in two ways. It's either a gut feeling or sometimes it's like a whisper in the heart. The gut feeling is the one that typically tells me that something is going on that I am not aware of, that is usually not in my best interest. The few times that I've felt that and I was able to confirm it, I've been correct. Like my gut feeling was accurate. The one from the heart is really hard for me and for a lot of people, I'm sure, to hear, especially since I haven't been very good about meditating. One of the benefits of meditation is that you have like a deeper connection to your body. This one is fairly easy for me to detect when it's happening because it's very loud and I can feel it. It's all up here because it comes in the form of overanalyzing. So many fears, so many questions that I have to answer for this to calm down. I try to piece as many things together. If I go down and I think, okay, if I go down path A, what is my life going to look like? What is the life of the people that I love who are also going to be affected by this decision? How are they going to fare? What does that look like a month from now, a year from now, 2 years, 5 years, 10 years? And the same with path B. So it helps if you go down path A and you can fill in as many holes, right? That's what we tend to do. We try to fill in the gaps in there to get as much information as we can. And then we try to do the same with path B. But then when all you have remaining are the same gaps on each one, you still remain in the middle. And you haven't been able to form a decision. So maybe you did fill in some gaps for path A, and maybe you did fill in some gaps for path B, but there are the same amount of gaps left still. And so you remain in the middle. I don't know if that makes sense. And so what I noticed is that if I took a moment and I just listened to my heart, what does the heart say? Well, the heart says yes. Want to go pursue that somewhat radical path? Okay, go for it. My brain says no, but my heart says yes. I use the heart saying yes, and I find that in the past has said yes in the past as well. Brain said no. And so why is that the case, I wondered? I think that the reason why the heart will tend to say yes, as radical as it might be or seem to other people, is because the wisdom of the heart is indirectly telling you that nothing is that serious. You want to go down a different path? Go down a different path. But it's the brain that puts all the impediments, and that's what keeps us stuck, sort of like settling or complacent. Yes, but no, because I know that some people are going to be like, well, that's not true. And I'm with you. Not necessarily complacent or settling in the position that you're in. Sometimes maybe all we need is to be placed in that position where we have to, where what we have is threatened to be taken away from us, for us to just shift in perspective and start noticing the blessings, so to speak. Maybe that's all it takes sometimes. And if you want to listen to the brain, as I tend to, I didn't make a decision based on the heart. I listened to the fears. I listened to the doubts. At least I was able to get that experience of like, okay, I acknowledge that I am listening to my fears, that I have become a little bit of a scaredy cat. I wasn't willing to take life with less seriousness was humbling for me to realize. Two people that come to mind when I am in that position. The perspective of the clinical psychologist, Jordan Peterson, and I think he has really good advice. Structure, responsibility, order, meaning, those have a place. Those are important and they need to be considered. They're just not trivial matters. That's one way of dealing with life in a way that is mature. But then you have people like another psychologist who also taught at Harvard before Jordan Peterson did, Richard Alpert, which later became known as Ram Dass. Went from being a psychologist teaching at Harvard to becoming a spiritual teacher. I really identify with Ram Dass a lot. And I listen to him and he reminds me about my attachments. He reminds me of zooming out with life. Jordan Peterson takes a more zoomed in approach, calls for a bit more seriousness and being grounded. Ram Dass, however, it's not that he's just out in the clouds. He has a way, and it's very, very hard, but I'm trying to apply the whole mentality of being in the earth, but not of it. Not attaching myself so much to the outcomes, or as he says, not having a preference. And that's very true. But there I am, stuck in my position, definitely holding on to preferences. No matter what decision you decide to take, whether you try to avoid it or you try to make it happen, if it's meant to happen, it will happen. It was Alan Watts who said, no amount of anxiety will prevent what's meant to happen. That's something that I tend to remember as well. Anyway, that's it for today.